Well, hello there.
Hello.
Just doing a quick video this Sunday. I know some of you will be very relieved.
Yes!
Throughout a bunch of videos, people ask me what belt I run and what holster I use and what mag pouches and all that other stuff, so I figured I'd just answer that real fast. Now this is the inner belt, as you can see there. So it's a Blue Alpha Gear 34, because I'm a little thick.
Put that cookie down! Now!
And this is the over belt. Now this is very simple setup. I don't have a radio pouch on here and I don't have my medical on there. It is what it is. I'll fix it eventually. You should at a minimum have a small blowout kit with you wherever you go. And I know that is gonna ring empty because I don't have one to show you. But Blue Force gear or something like that where you could throw a tourniquet and some dressings in there goes a long way. Or like a little ouch pouch. But you don't want to get too much stuff going on there. I don't have a lot of things on my belt because I've been in and out of vehicles a lot with full gear and it sucks. Whether you're in full battle rattle or just patrol gear, it sucks having a bunch of shit on your back. Although with those super sweet herniated discs I have in my lower back, the pressure on my lower back is always nice. So for some people, it'll fuck you up, but for other people, it'll feel good. I'm one of those feel good guys. So first and foremost, I have some 6000 series Glock holster. It's for a G17 with an optic I don't have and I don't use. My buddy was really hoping that this would get me to buy an optic and it didn't. So here we are. I run Safariland. I've run Safariland for most of my career. As soon as we could split off from the Blackhawks that we had, I've run drop legs and I've run these holsters. I prefer Safariland. They're made well and I've got no complaints. This is just the ALS release button on the side here. For a Glock 17 with an optic and a Surefire X300 UA or UB. I have a UB and you can see the rails for the UA, so it'll do both. But he was really hoping this would push me over to get an optic and he's still waiting for that. I am gonna put the interchangeable system on here. I do have it, I just don't have any other holsters. Well, I do, but not light bearing holsters. I'm gonna get a holster for each gun that I have that I would run, which is gonna be an HK45, probably get a tactical holster so I could run all of them. An HK45 with a X300, SIG 226, HKP30L, and USP45, and that'll do it. Also, I almost forgot, the Beretta 92 series, probably the M9A3, because that's what I'm gonna be putting in a holster. That's the holster. Moving around the front here, you have a Cobra buckle. These are great for getting in and out really quickly, and I like it a lot. Word to the wise though, be careful where you put this when you drop your rifle. My ex-wife carved up her nights pretty good. I had to spend a lot of time on it to try to recuperate it. I only got it about 50% because their anodizing isn't the best in the first place, but...
Oh no! Anyway, last week...
It'll scratch up your gun if you're not careful where you drop your rifle, so just be cognizant of where that's located. I also don't like having a bunch of shit right here. I know guys will put a tourniquet here or something like that. I like my weapon pretty free. On duty, I'll put my handcuff key right here, but honest, this isn't my duty rig. It's a battle belt.
My grave is my duty!
Just something to keep an eye on. I really don't like loading belts down. Some dudes really load their belts down and not their carriers, and vice versa. It's all about how you do things, and the more you see people's different setups, so long as it's squared away and it has noise discipline, then you're good. Also, the way these work with the inner belt, you don't want a bunch of dog shit on the inside, otherwise it won't Velcro to the belt. So you have to be really careful with that, and we'll get to how I have that assembled. Probably the only thing I bought from Amazon, honestly. All right, moving to the mag pouches. These are S-Tac Kiwis. This is a double, these are singles. What's really important is making sure you get the proper plastic pieces for the diameter of the belt. If it's off at all, it's gonna be flopping all over the place. You won't be able to draw the mags as cleanly, and it'll fuck up your noise discipline. My magazine orientation, again, this has to work for you, but for me, what I found works is 3 P's, 3 R's. 3 P's is pistol points penis or pistol points pussy, based on your reproductive organs, and rifle rounds rear. I know it's a little crass for some people, but 3 P's, 3 R's. I guess if you're a very religious person, you can say pistol points privates. I guess that's probably the G-rated version. What this allows is for me to draw straight out and index the magazine like this for the reload, and for the rifle rounds, it facilitates a beer can grip. This is the mid ride. I don't like the low rides because the magazines flop around too much and it's more of a competition setup. The high is about here, and I don't like those because of how much I can grab. This has enough lockup, so that's what's important to me, and I can grab the magazines. Yeah, that didn't even come out. I know it looks like it came out, but it didn't. Anyhow, the tension's good on these, the draw is good on these. The mid-ride is my preferred. If you're doing lots of tumbling down mountain faces or somersaults or BJJ or something like that, you might want the higher cut, but I found that these mid-rides are pretty good. I don't like anything too low though. This is not low, these are not low. It just works better for me. Another thing on these S-Tac pouches, I really like the size because I can put a Beretta magazine in there. It's a little looser. Sig mag in there. It'll fit a fully loaded HK45 mag nice and snug. P30 mag. So it does everything I need it to do. The P30 mag and the Glock mags fit the best, as well as the HK45 magazines. You'll only run into being loose with old school thin metal magazines for an M9 or a SIG, so that's where you're gonna run into that. But realistically, these are nice, and I do put a lot of pressure on these with Glock magazines. Glock magazines are thick, so you're gonna run into that. But even with the 2 HK magazines I use, these are still nice and tight. So it's really only the 226 and the 92 series I gotta worry about. What's important is you have a belt that works for you and not against you. This is not, as you can see, the most, although this isn't the best place to show you, it's a rigid belt, but it's not the most rigid belt. So it's comfortable to wear all day. It's not a 2-inch belt. It's not a 3-inch belt. And it's not one of those padded old guy belts with the suspenders, all right? This is a smaller belt, smaller profile, where you're just hanging essentials on it, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. I would absolutely wear it for duty. I'd probably wear it out and about should something crazy happen. I don't have any problems with these Blue Alpha belts. Somebody might pop in the comments and be like, my Blue Alpha exploded when I put it on. I don't know. I've never had it come loose. The finish is good, the quality of the metal's good, and how it stows is quite nice. Some only have like a little tiny thing in there, whatever. Do I feel like I need anything else on this belt? Like I mentioned, having medical on everything is important. Having medical on your carrier somewhere, even if it's just a tourniquet and a couple gauze or something like that, just to stop something. So I definitely need some medical on this. Video pouch, I'd probably run that on my carrier. And a lot of guys like putting the carabiner in their gloves on the belt. I don't really like that. It's more things to get caught on stuff, but if you like to do it, you do you. I've run it with and without. There's no big deal. It's fine. It's nice when you're doing certain things to have your little carabiner for your gloves, but more often than not, I'm just wearing my gloves. So again, you do what you want to do. I'm not here to police your gear.
You, get your freaking hands up!
You're not my supervisor!
What is important though is that you get gear that works for you. You get stuff that's resilient, and this has gotten wet, it's gotten sandy, it's gotten dry. I've used it quite a lot. I have no complaints with it. I'm probably gonna get a couple more belts. And is there a better belt out there? Probably. Is there a more rigid belt out there? Yes. But this is good bang for your buck. It doesn't get frayed. The material is very nice. The rigidity is good. And you don't feel like you're wearing a metal hoop around your body. It's comfortable to wear, but stiff enough to work. I really do like it. It's efficient and good quality. So I'm a huge fan of S-Tac Kiwis. S-Tac is a great company. They do great things. I really like the Blue Alpha belt. I might get something a little more substantial in the future, but honestly, this does everything I need it to do. Sorry, I almost forgot. So these are these. You get them on Amazon, whatever this Velcro one wrap thin tie thing is. And what's nice is they come in these rolls. You just take one off, and they have a male and female end. As you can see, this is the female end, this is the male end. There's a sticky side and a not sticky side for Velcro, which allows me to still interface on the belt, the inner belt, which is important because some guys will use Ranger bands, some guys will use whatever they can find, 550 cord, whatever. Once you have the orientation of your magazines and everything, I like putting these little keepers on each side to make sure that my pouches aren't moving. It helps with noise discipline, and having the Velcro helps with securing to the underbelt like we already said. So it doesn't really matter what color these are because you can't see them from the front, and they're stashed in between. Even if it's flexing and stuff, it's not enough black to throw you off. It's not as black as a magazine or a fucking gun. So there you go. That's my belt setup. It's gonna evolve and change. I'm gonna have other setups. I'm gonna have a 7.62 belt, but just get a good belt that's gonna work for you and your needs. Have it set up with magazines to at least facilitate, at least bare minimum combat load is 3 pistol mags, 1 in the gun, 2 on your belt, and 7 rifle mags, 6 on your body, 1 in the gun. That is bare minimum. Some of my friends fight me on that. Love you guys, but 7 mags for your primary is bare minimum. 10 mags is better. For your pistol, 3 to 4 is fine. Especially if you have 19 rounders or 20 rounders that you can throw in there, you'll be set. And you really should try to keep your primary up in the fight as long as possible before switching to this. I know a lot of cops and other guys are really good pistol shots, but you really don't want to be drawing a pistol and going up against rifles if you don't have to. So this is a last resort, why it's called the secondary. But definitely, if you got to throw another mag on here to meet 6, then do it. Just these are your lifelines, man. So this is the belt I use. Highly recommend it. If you want something more robust, there's more robust stuff out there, but this has held up very well. It's been wet, it's been dry, it's been salty, been sandy, and it cleans up just fine too. So highly recommend it. Very easy to use, easy to put on, easy to take off, and can't say enough good things about it. So this is gonna go up on September 11th. There's a lot of people with a lot of different feelings about it, but it was the last 20 years. I know it happened 21 years ago, and we were at war for 20 years. For better or for worse, despite your feelings on the war itself, a lot of very good people are not here anymore because of September 11th. So don't let that disappear into your memory or get memory hold or ignore it. It's a little easier every year that it goes by, but between the withdrawal and all the veterans that are out there, as well as the families that were affected on day 1 of this whole campaign, which was September 11th, 2001, just remember that a lot of people gave their lives for that, and it wasn't a waste as much as some people might feel that way. There were a lot of things done. It showed America's resolve and our ability to respond to our worst day. And I think the way the country was on September 12th, we could learn from. And we weren't perfect. There may have been some anti-Muslim sentiment, which was misplaced in a lot of ways, but as a whole, our society came together, and that's something we can learn from today. So don't forget those that sacrificed for everybody else. Don't forget the people that stood up and said, "Here I am, send me." They're not gonna do this to us on my watch. Whether they were sweeping floors or doing admin work or any of that stuff, they stepped up to do a job. And it's not just door kickers that got blown up, unfortunately. There's a lot of guys on bases that got lit up and stuff like that. So I know a lot of guys want to just remember the door kickers, but there's a lot of people doing other jobs on the side that often get forgotten. And I'll tell you, those guys coming out of the field love those dudes in the chow hall. So a lot of important jobs, a lot of people stepped up to do it, and remember those that sacrificed for our country, regardless of the politics, regardless of how it turned out, and regardless of feelings on leadership, we'll say. Hopefully this video finds you all well. Thanks for watching. Take care out there.